Speaking of straight teeth, here's Carl, everybody.
Carl, do you have straight teeth, Carl?
No, I get made fun of quite a bit for not having straight teeth.
Oh, really? You didn't have braces?
No, my sister had braces and she was miserable. So I remember telling my mom, like, I don't want braces. She goes, fine, they're expensive anyway.
Oh, Mom.
That's pretty funny. So do you regret not having braces?
Yes, for sure, because now everyone's dunking on me. Stuttering John is calling me a walrus. Look at all the L's over here because of it. So, guys, get your teeth fixed.
Yeah, it's funny, though. Usually parents don't give in that easily. You just go, no, you're getting braces, you asshole.
I know. I thought for sure that there would be an argument, and she's just like, I think that after what my sister went through, because she had them for years and years, and it was an awful experience, and it's expensive. She's just like, that's fine. I don't care anymore.
So do her teeth look fabulous now?
Oh yeah, her teeth are great.
Do your parents say, "Gee, Carl, you sure should have gotten braces like we told you"?
No, because like I said, they didn't put up an argument. Now the problem is that my sister's not on the internet every day. I am. She needs great teeth.
Yeah, no, that's unfortunate. But hey, it's one of those battles you won when you were a kid, but now you've kind of lost as an adult.
Oh my God! Speaking of battles you won when you were a kid, I went and found that video you guys were playing yesterday of that 17-year-old girl out of rehab who wouldn't keep the car. I had to watch that video for myself. Oh, that was insane.
Oh, she is the worst, isn't she? Just, I think I hate her more than anyone in all the cop cams that we've ever played.
The patience that the police have. So Cops is back on TV on Fox Business.
Yes.
And it's a very different version of Cops than it used to be, in my opinion.
I'm not sure I like the new Cops.
I know, because they're way too patient with everyone. The people are always lying to them about everything. And then they like, was that meth that just fell out of your pocket? You're just like, no, that's not meth. And then, 30 minutes later, like, yeah, I know, it's my meth. It's just like, the cops are just too nice sometimes.
And what they all claim that, don't touch me. You're molesting me. Stop touching me. You're hurting me. And they're just,
can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. Constantly, I can't breathe. The girl's sitting in the back seat of the police car with her hands behind her back, and she says she can't breathe. Bullshit.
Well, then she's getting mad because she won't just sit down in the seat, so they have to pull her into the seat. And then she's like, why are you pulling me? Because we said put your legs up and sit down. That's why. I just don't know what she thinks that it's going to result. Her behavior, it's insane to me.
Now, have you watched many cop cam videos? So you're watching Cops, obviously. So you do. Have you noticed too this love affair with the phone? That I'm just going to keep my window shut while I make a phone call to my attorney or my wife or my dad.
The Hope Solo method.
It's annoying as fuck. It's like, no, you don't get to call 6 people. Oh, roll the fucking window down. I mean, there needs to be a law that if you don't roll the window down immediately, we're just towing your car to the police station.
And actually, I'll extend that law to restaurants, because if you're a server and you walk over and someone's not paying attention, they're on their phone, they'll look at the menu, I don't need this to slow down my service. Guess what? We don't come back anymore. We come once or twice. If you're not ready, then it's over for you. You got to go.
I saw a classic cop cam video yesterday after the show, and it was this woman who he pulls her over and she says, no, I don't have to give you my license. By law, I don't have to give you my license. Well, okay, can I see your insurance? No, by law, I don't have to do that either. So he says, are you carrying a weapon? And she says, well, yes, I am, but I'm not going to give it to you. He's like, no, you do have to give me the weapon. And so he starts negotiating with her. Will you put it on the on the other seat, or will you put it somewhere where you're not holding it or where you're not reaching for it? No, I'm not going to do that because I'm scared of you.
Right.
In other words, you're so evil that I have to be afraid of you, so I need my weapon. You don't worry about you. We're worried about me, and I'm the one with the weapon, who, by the way, he knows nothing the fuck about. I mean, it was so fucking insane. Finally, the supervisor shows up, and she gives up the gun because he tells him that he tells her that he just wants to unload it, and then he unloads it and keeps it, of course. So he actually lied to her, but anyway, you lied to me. Oh my God, people are just... I hate people.
Well, there's a guy, I don't want to get too far into the weeds on this. There's a guy named Chili DeCastro. He has a YouTube channel called Delete Laws. With
yeah. We've seen that.
I hate him.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Cover him on Who Are These Socials quite a bit. He is so annoying. So every cop in Las Vegas knows who this guy is now because he gets himself involved in every traffic stop. He's so annoying. If there's an accident that happens, he has to be there right in the cop's face. They're just like, sir, we're just trying to do our job. Can you just stand on the sidewalk? I don't have to stand on the sidewalk. I can stand wherever I want. They're like, I know, but sir, can you please just move out of our way? There's someone injured. We're trying to get them into an ambulance. He's just such a prick. can't root for him.
Have any of you guys seen the latest, the big fight between BLM and the police, the Columbus, Ohio shooting?
No.
Oh.
Okay, well, maybe we'll watch it later in the show, but actually, I sent it to you, didn't I, Brandon?
I don't believe so.
Check your email. I think I did, but if not, we can find it later. Anyway, they're trying to get this woman to open the window because she's been shoplifting, and she won't open the window, and so the car's in drive. She won't put the car in park. So one of the cops gets in front of the car, and she starts to drive away with the cop in front of the car. So they shoot her through the windshield and kill her. So anyway, the guy that was giving the speech yesterday in front of this huge crowd, because of course the police are racist and they wanted to kill her. And I'm not sure it's a good shooting, to be honest. It'd be interesting to watch and see what everybody thinks, because I thought it was a little bit iffy. But the speaker said that she was driving away because she knew he was going to kill her. So she had to drive away. She was trying to save her baby. That's the narrative. Really?
Who said that?
The BLM speaker yesterday. And of course, the crowd's going crazy.
Of course,
and
that's
all
their
excited.
narrative, so they stay relevant. I mean,
I guess.
like, as if she knows what's going through that person's head.
I did not know BLM was relevant, but
No, they're trying to stay relevant.
yeah. They are bankrupt at the moment, and I think some people should be going to jail. But, buzzkill. Sorry, Brandon.
That's Chili DeCastro's narrative too. He says that police are always looking for a reason to kill people, even a routine traffic stop. Meanwhile, this guy gets pulled over all the time because he's trying to get pulled over because that's his content for his channel. No one's ever shot him. So I'm like, what are you basing this on? It's not statistically correct. It's not anecdotally correct. What are you talking about?
How about you talk to an officer that's actually shot and killed someone?
No, what we've done to the police, everyone has decided they're going to believe everything that was said during George Floyd, which was that you need to talk to your children because the police want to murder your children. So when they get their driver's license, you must have the talk, which is that they want to murder you. It's just so fucked up. And so now the cops are really paying the price now. And I don't know if it seems like the police are trying to be extra de-escalatory, but I think they've gone beyond being normally de-escalatory. They're crazy de-escalatory now. Anyway, Carl, how many cuts did you bring today, and what are they of? Is it the Force 5 or whatever? What's it called?
Right. Force 5 dropped their second episode. Everyone's talking about this, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, John Oliver, and Seth Meyers, because they are trying to raise money for their writing staffs. Well, actually, not just the writing staffs, but everyone who works on their shows, since the shows are shut down during the strike right now.
I want to ask a question right off the bat. Who is winning this strike? First of all, and second question, is anyone really missing the writers? Is anybody going, oh my God, there's nothing to watch?
Well, not right now. I mean, they loaded up on content.
Honestly, no one was watching these shows anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if not all of these guys have a show to go back to.
Oh, you're talking about talk shows. Yeah, no one's missing the talk shows, no.
No one is.
Yeah, their numbers, I know Kimmel's under 1 million. Greg Gutfeld has the highest ratings of the TV talk shows, and he's the only one who, wait, why is he not in the Strike Force 5? What's up with that?
Is he on? Is he still on, or is that part of the strike?
I don't know.
I honestly don't know either.
Yeah, I'm not a big Greg Gutfeld fan. I just know that he is one of the he's the winningest talk show host at night. So you would think he would be in the group, but then again, you would think he would not be in the group. So, oh well. But
winning.
I forget there is a strike going on because I'm never lacking for content. I'm watching either true crime, I'm watching stuff on my phone, I'm watching stuff on Netflix, I just really haven't missed it yet.
Yeah, well, the studios, what they're trying to do is they're trying to suffocate out. Like, they're ready to keep this going for the long term. Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling that they're the ones who are going to win in all of this, because we're going to find out that we don't need these writers and actors as much as the writers and actors think that we do. Because there's tons of content. People are creating content all the time. We're doing it right now. Look at us.
No, I got to say, Carl, your show, I always watch your show. That's like 3 hours a week of content. Sometimes it's even more than that. And that's stuff that used to be occupied doing other stuff. And there's other podcasts I'm watching. And I'm watching shitty podcasts to try to find something for September the 15th when we're at the Magic Bag.
Very good. Yes. We're going to be live at the Magic Bag September 15th. I'm really looking forward to that, guys.
No, I am too. It's going to be a blowout. And what time is the meet and greet, by the way? Did you figure that out?
Damn it, I gotta find that out for us, because I thought the show started at 8, and then I saw the website said doors at 8. So I got to find out what the schedule is for this show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please let me know, because I got to let Ted know.
Right. And I don't want it to go too late, because I know what people do when they get out of work on a Friday. They start drinking. And I don't need people who are 5 hours into drinking coming to the show. So
yeah, or they're really loud and really obnoxious. But anyway, let's get to Strike Force 5.
Okay, so they dropped their second episode. Now, I reviewed the first episode. I did a special episode with Chrissy Mayer this past weekend, and we reviewed that. The second episode just dropped, and there's some speculation, including my buddy Christian Blatt, that maybe they recorded this episode immediately after recording the first one, because a lot of times what these guys do is they go, okay, let's get like 5 episodes out of the way, and then we'll put them out over a certain amount of time. And then, because they're all busy guys, I'm sure they have things to do. They're not going to be getting together for a Zoom call, whatever it is, weekly or daily, whatever the cadence is.
Even though they have nothing to do right now, which I could not believe that Colbert compared it to a colonoscopy, not doing the show. Really?
Yeah, he said it was similar to saying a colonoscopy is like taking a nap.
Oh, please.
Oh, being on strike, being a vacation. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, there's a lot of douchey things that are said, but I think the thing I want to highlight first is just how bad these guys are at comedy. Because here you have these 5 comedians, some of who I used to have respect for. And obviously they have big writing staffs and they're still not funny. These shows are unwatchable. But get these 5 together and let them start riffing. My track number 9 really sums up when these guys just start tagging each other's jokes.
Well, he assembled it himself with an Allen key. All right, guys. Okay, you proved yourself to be British because no one says Allen key in the United States.
Really?
It's an Allen wrench. It's an Allen wrench.
It's not a wrench.
It's an Allen wrench.
Alan Key was a very famous British comedian.
Oh, okay. That must be huge in life.
He had a show on MSNBC. Allen Key is
Francis Scott Wrench wrote "God Save the Queen." Right?
That's correct. She's not a human being.
Wrench and Peel, of course, the comedy duo.
Whew, man.
Pretty good stuff, huh?
Yeah.
There's too many of them. There's just too many of them.
Out too, I know.
What's
So the
that?
one thing that I picked up
You
on-
dropped out. What'd you say?
The one thing I picked up on, especially from the first episode, was that Jimmy Fallon does not want to be there. I have some examples of that in this one as well. And John Oliver also does not really talk a lot. It's mostly Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers. So they're going to have this conversation. We're going to play track number 10. And this is one of those things where should be a phone conversation. If they want to talk to each other about each other's shows and what they do and how they do it, great. This is not a show people should be listening to.
Billy Eichner said it was because Billy Eichner's a tall gentleman, and he said he's never looked stupider on TV than when he sat in one of our tiny chairs.
The chairs, a lot of thought goes into the chairs that the audience at home, they don't care. Why should they care? But like how a woman sits in a chair as opposed to a man sits in a chair. And like, you have to have the chairs angled in a certain way. Like if someone's wearing a skirt, like there's, or like, are you upstaging the guest on the angle of their chair and how far?
We had a fake chair backstage so that guests can sit in it and feel what it would feel like and what it looks like. So
Really?
Because some people wear outfits that are beautiful and standing up, but then sitting down, it's a disaster. Like, especially if it's a skirt or, something like that. And so you understand this is what it's going to look like when you sit down.
Don't you love finding out a little something, a little trick that somebody else has figured out as far as doing this dumb job that we all have with all the same elements? And you're like, oh, well, that's why didn't we think of that before?
Carl, I couldn't figure out why this show sounded flat to me, and you pretty much hit it on the head. These are people who are supposed to be really funny, and they're without their staffs. They can't even bother us be troubled with video. I mean, they're just giving us nothing.
It doesn't sound great either because they're all using various equipment. I don't know who's producing this, if they're all just doing it on their own. It seems like it's just a Zoom meeting that they're converting to an MP3.
Yeah, it's pretty much phoned in.
Well, right. I mean, listen to that conversation. They're literally talking about, guys, the guests have to sit down in the chair. And so there's different ways that we try to figure out the chair stuff. They're not even trying to be funny. They're just having this conversation. You're just like, okay, you guys have this conversation on your own time. But then Stephen Colbert comes in and he's got a fascinating story about chairs, my track number 11 on his show.
We have extra chairs backstage. that are larger than the standard chairs. And if we have a larger guest, we switch them out and put in, they're to scale with each other, so you can't tell. But just to make people comfortable, we have chairs. Like if Shaq's on, the bigger chairs are out there.
What sucks is they have better stories.
No way.
Because I will say, I didn't listen to the new one, but I listened to the first one. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I know you disagree with me, both you guys, but I thought the stuff about the magic hour, those are really good stories that Colbert and Kimmel told. They were both up for that job, and neither of them wanted to take it because they knew the magic hour was going to be a fucking terrible disaster as it was. Isn't that the kind of stuff people want to hear from these people? Not their chairs.
For every 60 minutes of podcasting on this show so far, there's about 2.5 minutes that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the problem is, because they're all so guarded. The problem with these guys is, first, they think that being a celebrity and talking to celebrities is somehow fascinating to everyone. It's not. We're over it. We don't care. We see them on Instagram every day. They're boring people. We don't care.
Well, that's why they screen their guests for, 20, 30 minutes trying to make sure we get that one good story and ask those 3 really good questions so it's a great appearance. But they're not doing any of that kind of prep themselves.
No, in fact, they go off on this conversation about 1-900-COLLECT. And Jimmy Kimmel's going, do you guys remember the 1-900-COLLECT? You would call it, and then you would use that to make collect calls. So Jimmy Fallon remembers he used to use 1-900-COLLECT when he was out in L.A., and he was trying to make it as a stand-up, and he's at the Improv, and he uses it to call his mom. My track number 4, he does a hilarious Jimmy Fallon's mom impression. He's going to nail it here. You guys are all going to be like, wow.
And I go there, and who walks in but Jerry Seinfeld to the Improv? And I go, oh my God, this is peak Seinfeld. And I go, I had to call. So I went to a payphone and called 1-900-COLLECT to call my mom. And I go, Jerry Seinfeld just walked in the Improv. She's like, oh my God, Jerry Seinfeld. Oh my God, is he gonna do stand-up? I love it. And I go, she thought like that was me making it in the business. That I was in the club that Jerry was in.
He is by far the weakest link.
Also, that story's so dumb because he called her.
Yeah.
He's the one who was excited about it. And it's like, yeah, my dumb mom thinks I made it big just because I'm hanging out with Jerry Seinfeld. It's like, no, you're the one who's excited about it enough to call her. And then let's figure out if we can make the story of him going up after Jerry Seinfeld at the Improv boring as hell. My track number 5 here.
And I, of course, did impressions at the time. That was my act. Yeah. So I started my act with, I just changed the order and did Jerry going exam like a what's the deal or something like that. And I'm like, and it worked. And so I was happy I actually followed Jerry Seinfeld, and it was like, I was sweating bullets, but I was like, oh, it was a legendary night for me. Like,
oh my God, how relatable.
Well, he's trying to be modest, and that's the problem here. So he doesn't actually say what he did. He could have gone and do the impression right there.
Sure.
He could have said, this is what worked. This is, something like that. Instead, he just goes, so I did an impression. People liked it, and it was pretty funny. Great anecdote. Good stuff.
Wow.
Carl, don't mean to get too far off course here, but when you were doing the show with Chrissy Mayer and who's the third person?
Ryan Kimmel from RK Outpost.
Okay, I just didn't want to leave him out. But Chrissy kept referencing that that Stephen Colbert seems to like younger women, and I wasn't sure I knew what the basis of it is.
Yeah, that was weird. She kept trying to, and I think I eventually pushed back on her. She kept trying to say something about like Stephen Colbert being a pedophile or something. From what I know of Stephen Colbert, I don't know a lot about the guy, but I've heard him on Stern and some different things. He seems like a pretty squeaky clean guy, like a family guy.
Yeah, if anything, he loves his wife too much.
Yeah,
he talks about her too much.
That's what I thought. That's why I didn't understand what was going on. So
he's super Catholic, yeah.
I guess I will remain mystified until Chrissy explains.
Well, so I did this show with 2 people who are pretty far right of center, Chris and Ryan. And the thing that I just find fascinating about the political views now is if you get too far right, everyone is a pedophile. If you get too far left, everyone's a Nazi. I don't know Nazis or pedophiles, just so you know. Weird thing that's happening.
That's funny.
So.
Yeah, that was. I mean, she reiterated the joke quite a few times, so it was becoming very apparent what she was saying. I just didn't know what the basis was, so a little confusing.
It must be a thing. I haven't heard about it, but maybe there's something to it.
Yeah, I'll Google it.
Speaking of Stephen Colbert, so now they're telling these stories about, hey, I saw Seinfeld when I was younger, and Stephen Colbert goes, well, that's nothing. I saw Robin Williams pop into Second City.
Oh, boy.
And so they're doing an improv show, and he's got an anecdote about how funny Robin Williams was up on stage.
But he's not funny.
My track number 6.
I wasn't on stage, but Robin stopped in one night. That was pretty great. Somebody asked for a menu, and of course there are no props. It's all just object work. And and he reached over and picked up one of the bentwood chairs and handed it to the person as the menu, and it couldn't have been more wonderful. And of course they just rolled with it and just looked at like the cane work on the bottom of the bentwood chair, going, "All right, this is very nice."
Guess you got to be there.
Oh boy. People are never going to stop insisting that Robin Williams is brilliantly funny, are they?
Nope. Everything he did was great. The problem with Robin Williams, obviously, is that he swung at everything.
Yeah, his batting average was very low, in my opinion.
Yes.
Remember what Jack Black said when he was in studio?
Yeah.
About him?
Yeah, repeat it.
He just was like, everybody, Robin Williams, he's so quick, and he's got this joke and that joke. He goes, it's not funny, but it's amazing how quick it is, but none of it's funny. I'm like, wow, so there's a celebrity calling out another comedian. That's great. Which is something none of these 5 would do. And if anything, I was a little disappointed in the first one. How they started, first off, they have to kiss Randy Gerber and who's
Cindy Crawford?
Yeah, Cindy Crawford and is it Clooney that owns because they're the ones sponsoring it, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. So it's like there's so much advertising, and it doesn't feel like it's for products. It's feel like it's for celebrities, which is kind of weird.
Okay, so the second episode, I heard ads for Nissan, United Airlines, Pepsi, of course, Casamigos, Mint Mobile. So you have all these huge advertisers on a show that really hasn't existed until last week. And listen to the ad read. My track number 2 for Pepsi on this is insane.
So bad.
And they're even going to open up the Pepsi 125 diner here in New York City. And I heard that they're going to serve the infamous Crystal Pepsi. They're going to bring it back for this diner. So if you've never tried Crystal Pepsi, or if you don't remember what that was, it was a clear Pepsi. If you haven't tried it, it tastes like Pepsi. You can reserve your spot at pepsidiner.com.
Oh boy.
What a selling point. And they're going to have new Coke there too. Another thing no one liked and no one wanted. Great.
Pepsi.
I think it's funny that that's a selling point. Crystal Pepsi, which was a huge flop.
Failure. It's a major failure.
Carl, I'm looking up Strike Force 5 on Listen Notes, which is one way that all podcasts are rated. They assign a number to you based on your audience. And I'll just say this. Strike Force 5 has a smaller number than you have for Who Are These Podcasts?
Wow. They don't have as many episodes out, but...
No, this is their first 2 shows. Generally, you have a higher number when you're brand new. But I don't think a lot of people are listening to this.
Except for...
From the fine people of Pepsi Cola, the people who put the R in cola.
See?
Hey, Ted.
Yeah,
nice job.
Ted was a big Pepsi guy. He was. He still is.
He took a check from them.
He took it. I think Ted would take a check from me.
You know what, guys? I think it's going to catch on. It's going to get word of mouth. People are going to be listening to it because there's really funny anecdotes and jokes. My track number 7, they're talking about Jimmy Kimmel had Mr. T on his show, and Mr. T, I guess, isn't the tallest guy in the world, so they riff on that.
Oh, boy.
Because Mr. T's not that tall, right?
He's not that tall, and he's a good deal older, I think.
I thought the T stood for tall.
The T. No, the T stands
Mr.
for
Tall?
No, not Mr. Tall. And they were about to
I know
fight.
B to the T is a guy named Bud who's tall.
No. That's you're confusing the story, Seth. This is totally wrong. But they almost fought on the show.
God.
Wow.
Let him tell his story.
Right. Thank you, Mark, because I was getting frustrated too. I'm like, he's just trying to get out a quick story, and they keep trying to tag things. Now, what you heard there, aside from the guy trying to say T stands for tall twice for no reason, is there was a callback that Seth Meyers tried to do that made no sense. So they're just like, no, can I just tell you this quick story about this stupid thing that happened? So then
it's funny in listening to it. It's like my opinion of Fallon went way down. I mean, it was already pretty low, but it was even worse. My opinion of John Oliver was flat because he doesn't do anything on this. Opinion of Seth Meyers went way down because he just seemed to be annoying. And Colbert was Colbert, but I actually kind of liked Kimmel running it. It's almost like He's the dean of these guys. He had a few one-liners. I felt like if it was just him and one other guy, or him just doing a podcast, it'd be so much better.
Well, you know, Jimmy can be funny with Howard. I've heard Jimmy do some great shows with Howard.
Yeah. Well, he's a radio guy too, so I think he gets the medium more than the other four.
Yeah, I just think he has a good feel for situational comedy, if nothing else. I mean, his jokes are probably written for him, but he can be a real fun guy to have in a show. And with Howard, I think it works very well sometimes. I haven't heard him in a long time, but just saying.
All right, well, Jimmy Kimmel says that when he first started his late night show, it wasn't very good. This is my track number 8.
Listen, I know we all had a hard time launching our shows. We all, there are struggles, but there's no show that was worse, at least on this podcast, than mine for the first 8 to 11 years. I mean, it was absolutely a ridiculous show.
Totally disagree. Stephen Colbert's show was unwatchable. Nobody watched it. It was the worst show. Stephen Colbert going from the Colbert Report that everyone loved to the Stephen Colbert show was the worst thing ever. No one liked that.
Well, it was totally different from what anybody expected.
I liked Kimmel pretty early on. I mean, it was his 8 to 11 years. I thought that was the punchline. But honestly, Jimmy Fallon was horrible as a host at the beginning. He didn't know what he was doing. Yeah, it still
Jimmy
is pretty
Fallon's
bad.
terrible. Okay, so Mark, you said you don't like Jimmy Fallon at all. I like Jimmy Fallon the best out of all these guys.
Really?
Okay. I'll tell you why. Because Jimmy Fallon, all he wants to do is get loaded and sing karaoke. He just wants to go out and party. He doesn't want to be there. And what I like about him is that he's so into the booze that he has forgotten things he's done on his own show. Now, he did a bit with Robert De Niro. You would think that'd be pretty memorable.
That was his first interview. His first interview was with Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro. Stephen Colbert remembers it, but Jimmy does not. My track number 12, this is fascinating because you can tell that Jimmy Fallon's either trying to play along that he does remember, or maybe he's trying to get his brain to catch up to things. Along, and then they notice that he has no idea what he's talking about.
Because I love the Space Train sketch so much because he's also uncomfortable in the Space Train sketch.
We asked him to be in a sketch called Space Train.
Tell them what Space Train was, Jimmy.
Well, first of all, I just want to say, so you're interviewing one of the most reticent talk show guests, and the whole time you also know in the back of your head that the next thing you're doing with them is Space Train.
I kind of remember what Space Train was. I
think it was in the middle of the interview. Didn't you say we worked on a project together? Wasn't it one of those things and then you threw a clip of this project you had done together?
And it was a train that went to space or something?
It's a train that goes to space.
You guys are wearing.
There's only so much track, so it doesn't go very far to space. And there's a murder on the space train, but it all takes place on the space train.
Suits? Sort of tinfoil.
And he had a little conductor's hat, a silver conductor's hat on.
Oh, it was terrible. Oh,
I love that Steven remembers Jimmy's show better than Jimmy does.
Wow. I have heard a lot of stories about him getting drunk in bars till the wee hours of the night. And you hear him enough that, where there's smoke, there has to be fire in a lot of these cases. And then he comes into work with casts and things wrapped around his fingers and weird stuff, weird injuries that are not explained very well.
Yeah, then he's the host of the Tonight Show, has Robert De Niro on, and does not remember the bit at all. How is that possible? The whole bit with De Niro doesn't remember any of it. It's pretty impressive. So this is the best part, because near the end of the show, Jimmy Fallon has had enough, and he wants to get off the show and end it. So he figures out a way to do that by track number 13.
I just got a text from a member of Strike Force 5.
is that the best way to do it?
I just got a text from a member of Strike Force 5, and it's from Jimmy Fallon under the code name Steve Allen. It says, "I have to go," and I assume everyone got this at the same time. I am the only one who wants to be honest with our audience.
Yep. I didn't know. We're talking about show business and all this stuff, but it was going a little long.
So there's a limit. There's a limit to how much you want to help the staff, is what you're saying.
My face is so red. I know where I am. There's no air conditioning or anything. It is so hot where I am.
What?
Why would he just say that on the show?
Where the fuck where is Jimmy Fallon? There's no air conditioning.
That's a good question. He should be at his house. You would think they'd be AC.
Yeah, maybe he's in the unair conditioned part of the bar, waiting to go back to drinking.
Well, yeah, he obviously just wants to get the hell out of there and have some fun. And I love the fact that he did a group text. He'd be like, can we add this thing now? Because I'll peel back the curtain a little bit here. I've definitely texted with Mark Fellhauer during this show as we're doing the show, just to like be on the sly about things. But they didn't let him get away with it.
That's why I like it when people bust their balls. So I'm glad he called them out on it. Just talk about it.
Well, then Jimmy Fallon doubles down my track number 14 here.
Look, I got things to do. I can't talk for hours. 45 to an hour is that's all people want. They don't even want any more of this.
He's right. God,
The audience is sick of us. Can we just add this thing now? This is ridiculous.
Why does it sound like shit? Why does his mic sound so bad? Like you were saying at the top.
Just awful. I mean, well, maybe the facilities in the storage room at the bar that's unair conditioned.
He's on his phone. Maybe he's on his phone at the bar.
But how sad when you have 5 talk show hosts of a really revered part of evening entertainment, and he doesn't believe that more than 45 minutes has any value at all. That's pathetic.
He's sick of it. And here's the thing that I pointed out when I listened to the first episode. It's directionless. What they need to do is they need to have something to talk about. There's a lot of things these guys could be talking about that would be interesting. And instead, they're just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
And it's working.
I mean, you could talk about what's your highest rated show ever? What's your lowest rated show ever? Who's your 10 favorite guests? Whatever. They could know ahead of time so they could actually make notes and go into it with some preparation.
Yeah.
Or,
they do no prep.
Is if they ripped on each other and talked about what parts of each other's show sucked. Yeah. That would be a segment.
But like I was saying, the magic show stuff, like those old stories when they weren't these huge talk show hosts, were kind of interesting. The fact that 2 of them turned down that gig and had no idea that the other person was even asked to be the sidekick to Magic was funny.
Well, this show had some more star power than episode number 1. My track number 3, we hit John Hamm reading the intro for us.
Ooh.
5 men with identical, non-transferable, narrow skills and a ton of free time on their hands now unite. Their primary mission? To funnel money to their staffs. Their secondary mission? Attention. Will their efforts be worth more than the sum of their parts, or will they turn on each other? Which, let's be honest, would probably make for a better podcast. This is Strike Force 5.
That's all I was thinking. I'm like, oh, John Hamm's right. This would be great if they just turned on each other and started fighting.
Why is John Hamm doing a voice that's worse than if he was talking like John Hamm?
Good question.
And why does his quality suck too?
Wow, that sound is terrible. That's really the first rule of podcasting is don't sound like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did we learn this during the pandemic when all of a sudden celebrities started to try to sing Imagine and play together or, whatever else they were doing? Like, we just realized, oh, these people are idiots. They don't know how to do anything.
But talk show hosts should not have that problem.
Can they put a moratorium, too, on talking about that it's paying for their staffs? I mean, we know why this thing exists, but they talked about it nonstop.
Well, right, because they're trying to. That's the other thing, too. The first episode where Jimmy Kimmel slips up and says, people are listening to this broadcast. He goes, well, now that this is a broadcast, because they don't want to be seen as scabs, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it is a broadcast. And that's the thing that I thought was so funny about this show is that you have these guys who have these jobs that are pretty much obsolete at this point, but they don't realize it. They think that we need their style of entertainment, and we don't. Mm-hmm. And so they're going on there, and they're going like, well, we're slumming it here with this podcast. Like, well, more people listen to podcasts than watch your dumb shows by millions and millions.
Wouldn't it be better if they all met at one place and did this, too? Yeah. Would it sound a little better and be a little more engaging?
Or less of them.
And show a little more effort, even? I mean, this sounds like the most effortless, phoned-in piece of shit. Really, it does.
How do you really feel, Drew?
It's pretty bad.
It's funny, too, in that first one, Kimmel starts telling the story about the last strike because he was around then and how they didn't like each other. Because that was Conan, Letterman, Leno, and him, and they didn't really get along. And I'm like, there's got to be so many stories. And I can't remember which one of the other 4 just sidetracked it and started going off because he was talking about how Letterman and Ferguson came back first because of the structure of Worldwide Pants owning the show, and Letterman's like, give them whatever they want. We want to go back on the air. It's like, I felt like he had so much more to say about that, and it just got laywayed. It just was on to the next stupid thing.
Yeah.
I hope
he's got stories, is my point.
They're all playing it very safe, and you can tell.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
You hit the nail on the head there, yeah.
I hold all of those guys on a certain pedestal because of the jobs they hold, but the pedestal is just starting to really crumble. I mean, listening to this just makes me think less of them, which is a disaster for them because already we know their audience is shrinking. I mean, you don't want this to image you in a worse way than you're already imaged, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I know. I feel like you need a palate cleanser, Drew. And I
Yes,
have
please.
just that. A brand new show just launched on August 22nd. And my track number 15, this is how it starts. This is how they introduce the show.
15, hang on, sorry.
Sorry, buddy.
Welcome to the very first episode of the Handsome Pod, aka Handsome.
That's right.
It's Fortune Feimster, and I am joined by my amazing co-host,
Tig Notaro.
I'm Mae. Oh man! And we are
Mae
feeling
Martin.
very confident today.
Yeah. You really. I felt at ease there, Fortune. Your radio hosting skills that was smooth.
You know, I was trying to give us a little welcome to the show, everybody. It's gonna be a great time. Let's get your panties on and have a good show.
Get your panties
Get your
on.
panties on.
Yeah, get your panties on.
Everyone's listening naked.
They might be.
Yeah, no, Drew, this is good stuff, right?
It's just great.
Tig Notaro, Mae Martin, and Fortune Feimster have teamed up to do a show called Handsome. And
Okay, why is it called Handsome?
because they're all such handsome people.
I see.
No.
All three of them wear men's clothes.
Are they all lesbian? Is Tig?
Yeah, Tig
Mae
is
Martin is
lesbian.
non-binary. I don't know.
I know
what that-
Fortune's a lesbian.
Oh, Tig is definitely a lesbian.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think May have transitioned. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Oh, is that right?
Think so.
I really want to hear all three of them talk about their panties.
Well, good news because
Oh, great.
hilarious panty talk continues on in my track 16 here.
I just say underwear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
What about you, May?
I'm with you. Panties. I wouldn't. I mean, okay, maybe if I was in.
Panties, when May says it, panties.
Is that how I said it? Is that
Pantaloons.
I
Wait
kind
a
of like
second.
it when you say like that, panties.
Did I say panties?
It kind of. Well, now
We'll have to rewind and go back.
Now it feels a little put on, but
Yeah. What? You guys say panties.
panties.
And May says panties.
Panties. Like the Phantom of the Opera or something.
Ooh, I hate the word panties, first of all, but second of all, this is a major easy laugh factory here. Holy shit.
These are all comedians. These are professional comedians. I feel like Brandon is not enjoying this as much as he should be.
I'm not enjoying it whatsoever.
He's got his face in his hands. He can't take it at all. Am I ruining your day today, Brandon? What's going on over there, buddy?
This is not a podcast that I would listen to. Thankfully, you are here to break it down so I don't have
This
to.
is not a podcast anybody would listen to.
And plus, I just quickly clicked on their page for the show notes purposes, and what do I see? Hey, special guest Sarah Silverman. Oh.
Sarah Silverman asks about personal hygiene is the headline.
Spoiler.
I'm sorry, Carl.
No, it's okay. I have to tell you guys that this conversation about panties that we just heard, where they're saying panties and panties and underwear, goes on for 4.5 minutes.
Woo. Well,
Could you not?
thanks for sparing us. No, that word really troubles me. I don't know why, but
Yeah, I don't know
then
why.
hearing them say it, it sounds even worse.
What do you want us to call it? Ponties?
No.
So
I was just going off there.
these are supposed to be comedians. Now,
you, Brandon.
my track 17, there's a hilarious idea for a show format. I think you guys are.
You know what we should have done with this podcast is have
Not do
people
it?
send in math equations and see if we could solve them.
oh Lord,
God,
that would be in no big trouble with me.
Just sitting for hours, all of us silent.
That'd be more entertaining.
And it would
Could you
probably
imagine?
Yeah, it would probably still be ranked in the top 250. I'm not kidding. Tig Notaro's shows do really well, and it just blows my mind. It's like there must be some alternate universe in which this is really funny, but it's not the universe I'm in.
No, I don't understand how any of this is entertaining at all. So, as you mentioned, Brandon, Sarah Silverman, I see that and I light up because she is so funny. I can't get enough of Sarah Silverman. And what's crazy is that they booked the show. Like you guys just pulled it up on the screen there. It showed like Sarah Silverman's the guest. So I'm sitting there listening, like, when does Sarah come on? It turns out they use these names of celebrities, but all they do is have them pre-record a question.
Oh, come on.
Question, and then the rest of the show is them just responding to that. So this is my track number 18 here.
So I asked Sarah, do you have a question for us? And turns out Sarah did.
Also, she didn't even hesitate with what the question. She knew right away. She's like, oh, yeah, I do. I want to know this. And this is, yeah.
Because I was like, you can be serious, you can be silly. She's like, I got it. I was like, oh, okay. So here we go.
Hi, handsome. It's your old pal, Sarah Silverman. I have a question, and I'd like to hear you guys discuss it. How do you each wash your asshole and vagina? Just under the whole undercarriage area. Thanks.
I've been dying for someone to ask this question so that I can finally find out how you guys wash your assholes.
I, truth be told, have never had anyone ask me this.
Yeah, because it's not a real question, idiot.
That's really, I don't know. I'd call that low-hanging fruit.
No one talks to Fortune about her asshole? You don't say.
Unless she clogs the toilet, man. Look at that.
All right, let's find out.
And they clean it in the shower, I bet, right? Yeah, big deal.
Fortune is going to address this here.
Oh, great.
Great job, Sarah.
Say I don't always think about that hole.
Yeah, like I'm externally grazing the area.
I'm sorry, the dirtiest hole, it doesn't cross your mind while you're in a shower or tub.
I mean,
to
clearly
clean yourself.
Clean it, but I don't think that I'm like thinking like it's asshole time.
Yes.
Whew.
Pretty good stuff.
Well, Sarah, she knew her target audience, didn't she? Because they love it.
They were able to riff on this question for a while because it's really funny washing your asshole. Now, Mae, unfortunately, did something crazy, something I would never do. Mae decided to actually do some research and show up prepared for her podcast. Although she takes a little different approach than I would have my track 20 here.
Speaking of, I did Google like weird bathing techniques, and look, we should get back to our personal assholes, but I read that in 19th century Germany, they used to bathe in horse broth. They'd boil down a horse and then bathe in the broth.
I'm vegan. Let's not all forget this.
Yeah, you would have been in big trouble. And in ancient Greece, crocodile dung bath apparently is very toning for the skin.
Well, and Mae, did you Google this because of this question that Sarah submitted, or because you were just looking for a freaky new way to get your undercarriage clean?
Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I brought the show to a screeching halt.
No. You didn't. They did.
It's really weird hearing them say undercarriage, and they're really referring to themselves.
Who doesn't love some fun facts, though? Am I right? Brandon, I feel like you love a fun fact here and there, right?
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I loved, let's not forget I'm vegetarian. Oh, don't bring the room down or anything.
I think that was trying to be a joke.
Was she trying to make a joke? I don't think she was. I think she was serious.
Yeah, I can't bathe in horse broth because I'm vegan. Well, also because it's gross.
Yeah, it's not a thing. Okay. You're not in Germany 3,000 years ago.
Yeah, right. So that's part of it too, for sure. I don't know that research is the right thing for this show, but it's their first episode. Maybe Mae will figure it out.
Oh, you're so kind.
And I kept calling Mae her and she. I apologize. They, them. I don't know.
Oh, that's okay, Carl.
I'm sure we're going to see a
Dax
Shepard question being asked in future episodes.
Oh, yeah, more than likely. No, they'll probably guest on his show, too.
I think all celebrities should just ask them about their assholes. That should be the show.
That would be really funny if it was the same question asked in every way. That would be really fucking funny.
Maybe they could
That's
put
why
something,
they won't do it.
They could put something different in their asshole every week. Or I mean, that would be, I think it'd be better than what I just heard. Just saying.
I don't know about that.
I didn't know you liked it so much.
No, I just don't want to hear about their assholes anymore.
Imagine a podcast called Fortune Feimster's Asshole.
Oh,
that would get some downloads.
We just listen to it. You know, it's funny. I searched her name and her Wikipedia page popped up, and she's got a whole list of her doing podcasts. Like that's her. Is that her thing? She just shows up on other people's podcasts.
Who? Tig?
No, Fortune.
Oh.
Like
she's a stand-up. I've seen her do stand-up.
Yeah, and she's a writer, but I mean, there's just so many podcasts that she's been on. It's just, I don't know. I was surprised by that.
Is she good, or does she just get all these positions because of?
I don't know. I mean, she's on Rogan's. She did Rogan's show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Justin Long Comedy Bang Bang, which is a big one.
See, I would think Joe Rogan. Does Joe Rogan only have people on if they're truly entertaining? I would expect him to only have people on for that reason.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I said, I saw Fortune do stand-up. It was part of it was that stand-up tour that Bert Kreischer does at minor league ballparks. They came to Rochester on there, and everyone was telling me David Tell was out, which is why I went. But there were a few good people on there. Big Jay Okerson. So everyone was telling me like Fortune Feimster is hilarious. You're gonna love her. She's really, really good. Now I thought she was pretty good. I thought she was funny. But I don't know that she lives up to the reputation that she's gotten as like one of these just hilarious comics. You know, it's a lot of self-deprecating humor and what you when you're a big fat girl, I could write 30 jokes tomorrow.
She does look like the kid from Bad Santa.
She does.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
I don't know. Tig Notaro can bring anyone down to me. I never think she's funny. I've listened to her in different formats, and she's just never funny to me. And I feel like she's one of those things, like everyone pretends they love the musical Hamilton. I think everyone pretends they like Tig Notaro.
I agree with you. I think she's anti-comedy. When Tig is on a show, it makes it less funny every time.
Definitely. No, you're absolutely right. That's it. That's interesting. I mean, that's almost a skill in a way, because that's hard to do.
Why do comics love her so much? Is it because she's the anti-comedian? Is it because
politically correct to like her?
Yeah, I assumed it was because she was a lesbian, which is terrible. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. All right, do we have any more cuts?
No, I'm going to end it there. I'm going to show some mercy since I'm going to see you guys in a couple of weeks. I don't want you too upset with me.
We're going to see you in a week, Carl, just about a week, and we'll be right here. And it'll be interesting to have you in the show doing our stuff. That'll be fun. And you can
very excited about it.
Bring another podcast, which we can wonder whether we'll enjoy or not, to the table. We can do it a week early or out of sequence or whatever, or we can just do our show, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to being in studio.
Yeah, and so much going on next week.
Bentley's going to be there. That's going to suck. But other than that, it should be great.
And there's Tigers games. There's Michigan games. There's all kinds of partying to do in Royal Oak and Ferndale. So, no, it's going to be great having you guys around. Who all is going to be here? How big is the crew?
Oh, my gosh. It's every single person. So we're going to come with Vinny Paulino, Trucker Andy, Jenny Jingles. Who else from our show?
Producer Chris.
Dr. Steve is coming, isn't he?
Dr. Steve, producer Chris. Lucy Tightbox is coming with us.
Oh, my.
Eric Zane coming up. We got, I think that's pretty much everyone
Tukey.
right there.
Tukey.
Tukey's coming. Curtis
Tukey's
is
coming? Wow. Excellent. No Blind Mike. I was disappointed.
Well, Blind Mike is going out to Vegas for the Legion of Skank Fest.
Oh.
So he wants to do both things.
Oh, what's the Skank Fest?
Oh, Skank Fest is this crazy festival that they put on, Louis J. Gomez puts on, where it's all these comedians and podcasts, and they just do live shows all day, all night in various venues in Vegas.
Oh, wow. Well, that sounds like fun. But we're going to have a ball here. Trust me. No, it's going to be great.
I should mention Thursday night, we'll probably go out. We'll meet up with people. So I'll tweet it out. We'll put it in our Discord server. So people are in town or they already live there and they want to hang out. Look for that. We'll be hanging out Thursday night and then Friday night's the show.
Yeah, awesome. We should give a venue as soon as possible because people, I don't know why it just sinks in their head. The sooner, the faster, the better. But I know it was Oak City last year, but there's lots of options.
Okay, I did enjoy Royal Oak, so maybe we'll go back up there again. But you guys tell me.
Yeah, no, Oak City's a great place. There's plenty of space there, and no, that'd be great. It's pretty. Royal Oak's very convenient for everybody too. If I think of something else between now and then,
mainly you.
Well, it's pretty convenient for you too.
Yeah, I got to work though, but yeah.
Not so much for Brandon.
Yeah, whatever. I'll be there anyway.
What, you have to work on a? Will that be Thursday? Oh yeah, Thursday. That's right. Well, you're not working all night.
I'll be there.
You'll be on your way home. You're coming to Brandon?
Oh, of course.
Okay, cool. All right, Carl. Looking forward to it.
Yes, definitely, guys. I'm really looking forward to it because the last time we were in Ferndale, we had a blast. And so we're spending extra time this time around because we had so much fun. It's going to be it's a lot of work, but somewhat a vacation for me as well.
And we had a killer crowd at the show last year, too. God, that was a great night. It really was. So I'm looking forward to more of the same. So we'll see you in a week, Carl.
All right. See you.
Later. See you.